creeps, it's Cameron again, and welcome back to my channel where I talk about books, movies, writing, and all things spooky. And today, on Library Macabre, I will be reviewing The Halloween Store and Other Tales of All Hallows Eve by Ronald Kelly. First off, I just wanted to say Happy Halloween Eve. Halloween? It's almost here. One day away. Can't believe it. Can't believe it's almost over. Little bummed about it, but it's gonna be a fun day. Full moon, Saturday, and the weather is supposed to be beautiful. So really I couldn't ask for a better Halloween. Hoping it's a good one. But anyway, speaking of Halloween, The Halloween Store by Ronald Kelly is a short story collection. It features, I believe, 7 different short stories, all centered around the Halloween season. Yes, it's got 7 short stories, as well as 2 essays and an introduction. Overall, I thought this was a really, really fun and solid short story collection. It definitely gave me the Halloween vibes. I just recently read Halloween Season by Lucy A. Snyder, and I was a little bit let down because it didn't feel Halloween-y enough. It didn't have enough pumpkins and trick-or-treating. I wanted more of that. I wanted more of those nostalgic childhood Halloween vibes. And the Halloween Store made up for that. This had everything that I was looking for in terms of the Halloween spirit. So what I'm going to do, since there aren't too many stories in the book, is go story by story and let you know what I thought of each. The Halloween Store, which is the title story, is the very first story featured in the book. Honestly, this one was my least favorite story out of all of them. I actually really enjoyed pretty much all of the other stories in the book. The Halloween Store it was okay. It felt kind of like Goosebumps, The Haunted Mask. It definitely had that vibe. Maybe just a little more mature and a little more bloody for adult readers. But overall, it felt a lot like The Haunted Mask, and I liked that aspect of it. But for some reason, the writing just didn't catch me. Fortunately, though, the rest of the stories are very well written. They grabbed me, kept me invested. I really did not want to put this book down by the time I started reading the second story in the book. The second story is called Mr. Mac is Back in Town. And this was a really interesting story. It's about this monster that comes into town every so often, every certain amount of years, and he's driving this RV that is full of movie monster memorabilia. So like think Universal Monsters. It's full of all this stuff, and the monster lures kids in with it. I really liked the story. I didn't know where it was going because I had never heard of a creature like this before. It was very new to me, so it was cool to read something so fresh. The next one is an older story by Ronald Kelly. This is called Blood Suede Shoes. And Blood Suede Shoes was originally published in Shock Rock back in, I believe, 1991. I'd like to say 1992. So this is from 1992. It has been republished in the Halloween Store, but it is a Halloween version of Blood Suede Shoes. I liked this one overall. I thought it had a really cool twist, and I thought the writing was top notch. The only thing that really bothered me is how dated it is in terms of the main character, who is this high school student. The way she's referred to and the way she refers to herself, it's very outdated. But I'm not gonna knock it too much because it is from 1991. The story otherwise was really fun, had a cool twist ending. I just didn't like the way the character was written. It's a little uncomfy. The next story in the book is called Clown Treats. I really liked this one. It is very creepy. It's about these 3 kids who are going trick-or-treating, and they go to their teacher's house on Halloween to get candy, and their teacher isn't there, but a man in a clown costume is, and he is waiting for them inside the house, and it was very spooky. I did end up seeing where the ending was going, so it wasn't much of a shock to me or a twist, but it was still really creepy, and the twist is still pretty gross. So yeah, I liked it. The next story is called The Cistern. It is about a man who returns to his childhood town to find that it is exactly the same as it was, or is it? And I'm just gonna leave it at that. The next one is called Pretty Little Lanterns. And this was my favorite story of the entire book. If you buy this book and you don't read any of the other stories and you just read Pretty Little Lanterns, you will feel satisfied. That is reason enough to buy this book. It is such a good story. It is dark, it is twisted, it is messed up, and it really grabbed me and just pulled me right in. And by the way, Pretty Little Lanterns is the story that is featured on the cover of the book, which is, by the way, like one of my favorite covers of the year. I think this is just beautiful. The last story of the book is called The Amazing and Totally Awesome Fright Creature. It's about these two kids who are digging through their dad's old comic books, and they find an advertisement for the amazing and totally awesome fright creature, which is one of those, like, you know, you send in your money and they send you a plastic salamander in a box, which is kind of what happens, except it's not plastic, and it begins to grow, and they find out that they have gotten themselves into quite the bind. It's a cute story, and the ending gave me a chuckle, so I really enjoyed that one too. Now the next two are not short stories, these are actually essays. The first one is called The Last Halloween, which I really liked. It was basically just Ronald Kelly talking about his very last Halloween, his very last trick-or-treating experience as a kid. You know, there's a certain point where you become too old to trick-or-treat, it's not socially acceptable anymore, and there's just that sadness of knowing this is my last Halloween, this is the last time I'm going to get to trick-or-treat. So he basically told about his experience, and it was a really fun little essay. The next one is called My Top 10 Favorite Halloween Stuff of the 60s and 70s, which is basically exactly what it sounds like. Ronald Kelly just talks about the things that he loved most as a kid around Halloween time in the 60s and 70s. So overall, I thought The Halloween Store was a really fun short story collection, a Halloween treat, and I highly recommend reading it. If you love Halloween stories, I highly recommend picking this one up for Halloween next year, or just go ahead and read it. Even after Halloween's over, read it anyway. Halloween is every day. I would just like to say thank you so much to Macabre Inc. for sending along a copy for review. I really appreciate that. If you would like to buy a copy for yourself, I will leave links down below in the graveyard. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next episode. Happy Halloween. Later, creeps.